Hello and welcome to 8-Bit Orc, where today we've got our hands full looking at our first year with the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 is one beefy boy, but I can relate, so nothing wrong with that. When it comes to style, I find myself in minority, and quite like how this behemoth looks on my shelf. I pre-ordered the disc version of the PlayStation 5, as I am a fan of physical games. I also have a large PS4 library that I would like to be able to play. Also, being able to borrow games from friends or buy cheap physical games is worth the extra cost for me. Overall, the PlayStation 5 has been very quiet. Although I have had some instances of coil whine where you can hear a little bit of a buzzing noise, but it only happens on rare occasions, and the room has to be completely silent or you get right up close to the machine. When compared to the jet engine equipped on my PlayStation 4 Pro, it's whisper quiet. One exception to this is when you're installing a disc-based game or watching a 4K Blu-ray. The drive does get pretty noisy. Although this is only while installing, I never really had it while playing a game. The UI has been great. It looks new and modern and highlights the most important thing on the PlayStation 5, the games. I do feel that the multimedia functions of this system have been ignored. Playing media on a USB stick is rather obtuse, and it completely lacks the ability to play media from a network drive, which I've been doing on PlayStation hardware since the PlayStation 3. You still have access to YouTube, Netflix, and all the other streaming apps. But it's been a year, and I was hoping they would add some better multimedia functions by now. My Series X doesn't have these same issues, so it's going to be my go-to for playing multimedia this generation. Although I know this isn't a problem for most people. The PlayStation 5 hard drive comes with a rather random 825 gigabytes of space, which leaves you 667 gigabytes once you account for the operating system. You are able to load and play PlayStation 4 games off of an external hard drive, but in order to play PlayStation 5 games, they must be loaded onto the internal SSD. For most of this year, you were unable to upgrade the internal storage of the PlayStation 5, but recently they patched the system and allowed you to put a Gen 4 NVMe drive as long as it meets or exceeds their system specs. I haven't found the need to add storage yet, but most likely will when the price is right. Thankfully, there are many manufacturers making drives that can work with the PlayStation 5, so I'm hoping the prices will come down pretty quick. One problem I have found with the PlayStation 5 is its complete inability to deal with the lack of power. So if you have brownouts or anything like that, your PlayStation 5 is going to get angry. Your PlayStation is going to want to scan its internal hard drive. It's also going to want to scan any external devices you have connected as well. It'll probably make you unplug them and plug them back in. While the Xbox is in the same mode and doesn't really seem to care or notice. After these lengthy scans, everything seems to be okay, but it does take up quite a bit of time. It's happened enough times that I'm pretty hesitant to use the rest mode on the PlayStation 5. I must admit I've gotten quite into the PlayStation hype train and purchased nearly every single official accessory for the PlayStation 5 this year. This includes the PlayStation Media Remote, charging dock, camera, and even obtaining 4 controllers, even though I have nobody to play with. The PlayStation 5 controller really has been a joy to use, and the haptic feedback brings a new level of immersion to games that use it well. You also have adaptive triggers and a built-in microphone, which I found are cool features, but not really game changers for me. The adaptive triggers are cool at first, but can sometimes feel like they're fighting you and becomes kind of bothersome. I'm sure competitive gamers will want to turn this off right away. The PlayStation 5 includes Astro's Playroom, which is free to download, and really does a great job of showing off the possibilities of the controller. In other games, the use of this controller's cool features have been relatively sparse. I'm hoping as new PlayStation exclusives start coming out over the next few years, we'll see it get a lot more use and live up to its true potential. The main drawback of this controller is the battery. You can kill it in a single day of heavy gaming. I guess that's the price you pay for all those features. So unless you keep a charge cable nearby, you might want an extra controller so you can swap it out. Or many extras if you please. It has USB-C and every button and trigger just feels like great quality, along with the joysticks and analog stick. This is just the complete package. All things considered, this is my favorite controller to use. Or maybe this one, yeah, the black one. The red one? If you're planning on using your PlayStation 5 as your main media center, I'd definitely pick up the PlayStation Media Remote. It has dedicated buttons for the most common media applications I use, as well as universal remote functions to control the power and volume on your TV. The battery lasts a very long time. I don't think I've charged it since I got the remote around a year ago. I would say this media remote is essential if you plan on using your PlayStation for watching YouTube or Netflix. Gotta save the controller batteries for gaming, right? The Pulse 3D wireless headset has been a pleasant surprise. Although it requires you to plug in a wireless adapter, the connection so far has been flawless. I have found myself having issues in the past with other wireless headsets, including PlayStation headsets, where I get random static or dropping connections altogether. So I'm happy to report no problems so far. The sound on these are great, especially considering the price tag. It won't compete with high-end headphones, but for $100, this is pretty hard to beat. But overall, they are great value, and personally like the style and how it fits in with the PlayStation 5 aesthetic. The mic is also pretty decent, especially considering it's seamlessly built into the headset, which is a nice bonus, and more than good enough for party chat and games. Overall, it's a big thumbs up. Next up, we have the PlayStation camera, which, well, honestly, I haven't really used it. I just, bought it because it was on sale, plugged it in, and don't know, eventually maybe a game will ask me about it. Perhaps if I did some streaming on the PlayStation 5, I might be able to use it. Or maybe when VR comes out, it will come into use, but until then, yeah, I wouldn't really bother. I also got myself the official PlayStation charging dock. I like the way it looks, and it charges controls well enough. It can be a bit fidgety to get the controllers into position though. I wouldn't trust a first timer to do it flawlessly. But it's not bad once you get used to the nuance. The library of games offered within this first year has been pretty impressive, with exclusives such as Demon's Souls Remastered. Graphically, this is the best game I've seen on any system, and any Souls fan owes it to themselves to play this game. Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart, which is a great action platformer. And even though it's a third-person shooter, it's still appropriate for younger audiences. As well as Returnal, a sci-fi roguelike with psychological horror and third-person shooting. PS5 owners also got the best version of a number of PlayStation exclusive games. To name a few, we got Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ghost of Tsushima, and Sackboy's Big Adventure. With PlayStation Plus, which you'll need if you want to play most games online, you also get access to a back catalog consisting of 20 of the best games of last generation. If you missed the PlayStation 4, this set of games alone will keep you busy all year long. PlayStation Plus also offers free games each month. This November they've added a ton of extra VR games, making it extra appealing if you're a PSVR owner. The PSVR is fully backwards compatible. You just have to send in and get this little dongle from Sony. It only took a couple days. Whether you're playing new games or games from last generation, the PlayStation 5 has had you covered all year long. Sony's PlayStation Now, which is its closest equivalent to Microsoft Game Pass, really hasn't put up much of a fight. It mostly gives you access to streaming versions of last generation games. Most importantly, it does not have any day one first party releases like you'll find on Xbox's Game Pass. A ton of these games are streamed with no ability to download them onto the system. I really wish streaming was an option rather than a requirement. Input lag is still a major issue, as services like Google Stadia have shown us. Call me a pessimist, but no matter how much time, money, and technology you put into it, you're never going to find a way to send information from my controller to a data center hundreds, perhaps thousands of miles away and back again faster than you can get it from this controller to a system that's sitting a few feet away. And faster will always be better.
If you ain't first, you're last.
I really do hope that PlayStation Now evolves into something more like the Game Pass service, but I'm not holding my breath. The biggest reason to get a PlayStation 5 is for those exclusives, and I do think that PlayStation has the best first-party output in the industry. I'm completely hyped for games like God of War Ragnarok.
Are you a calm and reasonable person?
And Horizon Forbidden West coming in 2022.
I need to get clear.
While I don't think the PlayStation 5 has had the best launch lineup in history, I think it's been pretty acceptable. It had many more original titles than the Xbox this year. But with both these companies fighting for your business, there's only one winner, the gamer. And I'm looking forward to another year with the PlayStation 5.